My name is Lisa. I am an event coach. I help people that plan and promote their own events, and I am going to be talking about the art of designing inclusive events. So this was a book that was actually given to us last year, I believe, Daily Practices of Inclusive Leader. So let me just start with this. The heart of an inclusive leader. Having heart as a leader means shedding the hard, unfeeling shell you might wear to protect yourself. It means showing up as you are, sharing who you are with others, and creating the space for others to also show up as their whole selves. Your willingness to share something personal communicates your humanity. Next. So Lisa is, how many of you have seen this? I identify with this. This is Monday Mona Lisa. The reality in our events is that people show up as human, right? Being human is what? It's not just the managed Lisa, and it's not just the messy Lisa, but there's always all of us that shows up, whether we feel like we are managed and we're together and we've got it all going on, or if we feel like we're showing up, even if this is internally going on, we show up and we feel like we're just not ready for it. We're just not there. The opportunity we have in events is to really get creative, to see the art in bringing the humanity back to our events. So I'm going to go through each one of these words, starting with the word art. So art is, as they say, disruptive. So when we talk about art being disruptive, it actually means that we are challenging assumptions, that we are provoking emotion, and that we are inviting new perspectives. So when we talk about art, I talk about myself as a planner being an artisan planner. We think sometimes with events that we need to check the boxes, that we need to be in a box, that we're in literally a box, what's going on in that box. But I see that if we're talking about humans, does it mean that humans are in a box? Usually not, right? When we talk about inclusivity, we talk about how do we disrupt those things that we feel are our go-to ways of planning an event, turn it upside down and say, where can we actually start to see the art in how we're planning? When we talk about designing, art takes courage, but when we talk about designing, sometimes we also think about designing as something that is, there's a method to it. We're trying to get to a user experience. We're designing something. But when we talk about designing, the word that kept coming to mind is this iterative process. It's a work in progress. The work that you do, would you say that your work is iterative as well? It's so important, even how the word is spelled here. There are some skips, there's some moving back, there's moving forward, there's gaps that we don't exactly know how to fill. When we're designing our events, you will see that there will be some gaps, and that is actually okay. We want to look at our event as not a one and done, but we're designing something bigger. The beauty of designing is that we're actually looking at what we can be doing better next time. It's looking at, not today, this isn't final, but we're going to be looking at curiosity, testing, feedback, and then we're looking at how do we revise things over time. So when we talk about inclusivity, I was thinking about what the next slide would be on this, and I kept coming back to this word, uncomfortable, and I couldn't figure out why I kept getting stuck on that, because when we talk about inclusion, isn't it about bringing everyone together and actually making people feel more comfortable? The reality, if we are really doing the inclusion work, put your hand up if you feel like it actually is a bit uncomfortable. I am in the middle of even our family challenges right now, some inclusivity conversations that are splitting people apart, where we're actually having conversations where we're talking over each other, under each other, and we're not seeing eye to eye. So I want to suggest when we're talking about inclusion, inclusion is an experience. And if you can kind of see this word experience here, it's like a river flowing. Because there's going to be an experience here that leads to another experience, to another conversation, to another opportunity. And there will be some erosion. When we think of a river, right? It's not going to be the same river 10 years from now. So when we talk about inclusion in our events, how are we actually starting to build these experiences one after the next? I talk a lot about using an event as a connection point, and we need multiple connection points over time. We want to design inclusive events. You can go to the next one. Oh, one more. And look at your event as an opportunity to transform your world and your work. The people that we work with, when we talk about transformation, what we're doing here, what Inez has done, thank you so much, Inez, for what you have done to bring us all together. Do you feel like what you've learned and how you've experienced the last 3 days has been powerful? Yes. Do you feel like it has been foundational to your work? Yeah? And transformational, potentially transformational to the people that you work with. So we take what we learn in events, we take the conversations we have in events, we take that connection we make, and then somehow it translates into the work and the world that we have outside of this event. So an event can be transformative. And an event, that's all right, we can stick here. An event is that opportunity for us to do things differently, to show how it could be done differently. I often say an event, when we talk about organizations or a company, it's like the mothership. And when we talk about events, it's like having a pod, a mission pod going out to do this event and that event. But what happens when that pod comes back to the mothership? We've learned something over here, right? And it becomes something we can infuse differently in our companies. So events can be transformative that way. This quote really spoke to me. If you're trying to disrupt the status quo, you're not going to do it by playing their game. As an event coach, I hear this all the time. Oh, we want to do what they did down there. That event was amazing. Or that campaign really worked well. Why does that not work? You're not them. You're not them. And in the work that we do, and at the back there is a bit of information of a program I started called the Connection Architect Program. And that is really talking about if you saw all these tables and you thought of all these tables as different parts of a community, if we're building this event here, how does it integrate with everything else that is going on in the room? It is so important for us to get out of our own heads, out of our own way of doing things, and inclusivity is building the game that is going to work for us, our community, but then integrates so well with everything else that is going on around us. Go to the next slide. I'm missing one slide here, but there is another slide of Mona Lisa in my favorite coffee shop, and it's Mona Lisa but with roses all around her. And what I love about that slide is that when we look at ourselves and how we're showing up, we can be fully ourselves. That is our responsibility. It's our opportunity, and sometimes it is uncomfortable, but it is where we can open ourselves to how other people are seeing our event and how do they see themselves belonging in this event that you've created. And my company's name is Candy, and it is really about how are you doing that meat and potatoes of your work? So whatever it is that you do, but then how can you add that sweetness and the irresistible factor by adding an event or a campaign, something that actually leads people to your work so that you can share that passion you have for an inclusive event.